Hey everyone, it's Anton from Pocket Now, and this is the full review of the Nokia 808 PureView. And usually at this point, we're showing the device, but we're now showing only the box because we are using the phone to actually record this intro footage so that you can see how well it records 1080p video. The Nokia 808 PureView is a successor to the Nokia N8. It wants to be the king of camera phones, but whether it manages to be or not, it's up to us to decide and for you based on our full review, which is coming up right now. There is only one aspect in which the Nokia 808 PureView can compete with current Android phones, iPhones, and even some Windows phones on the market, and that is the 41 megapixel camera sensor. The rest of the specs, while modest compared to phones on other platforms, are still a huge step up from the internals of the N8, Nokia's X-camera flagship. There's a 1.3 GHz ARM11 processor powering the 808 PureView, aided by 512 MB of RAM. There are 16 GB of internal storage, expandable via microSD card, and 1 GB of ROM, which, while still used for out-of-the-box applications, holds enough space for your own applications. In order to cope with extremely demanding tasks, of course graphics-wise, of handling 41 megapixel images, the 808's processor is aided by a dedicated Broadcom BCM2763 GPU, a step up from the GPU on the N8. Thanks to the addition of the GPU, capturing images, processing them, pinching, zooming, scrolling, you name it, other graphic applications are extremely smooth. The screen is a 4-inch AMOLED display with Nokia's Clear Black technology, but the resolution, while modest compared to nowadays HD screens, is standard for the Symbian platform and other Nokia devices running it. NHD, 360 pixels across, 640 pixels down. As you'd expect from a Clear Black AMOLED display made by Nokia, it delivers excellent colors, contrast ratios, and deep blacks. Outdoor visibility is elevated, and if you don't mind the small resolution, it could be the perfect screen for you. Of course, you will not be able to see all the details in a 38 megapixel picture, for instance, on this NHD resolution screen, but the software zooming in the gallery helps a lot. However, the color reproduction of the screen goes hand in hand with the great camera system to deliver real, rich colors which are not oversaturated. Connectivity-wise, the 808 PureView has Wi-Fi BGN with DLNA, Bluetooth 3.0, and frequency support for most GSM and HSDPA frequencies. There's also an NFC chip included, with the antenna being placed on the back cover, and there's a micro USB and a micro HDMI port for syncing and respectively mirroring. The front of the phone is taken up by the 4-inch Clear Black AMOLED screen, and the entire front panel is Gorilla Glass. The top part is dominated by a discrete chrome Nokia branding just between the screen and the speaker grill at the far top. To its right, there's the proximity sensor, VGA webcam, and ambient light sensor. The very bottom of the phone holds the green Cold Start, menu, and red Cold End power hardware buttons, which are made up of a single piece of plastic. When the phone is turned off, or sleeping, you can only see the power button, but once the backlight kicks in, red, white, and green colors light up. There's nothing on the left side of the phone, but the right side is where you find your 4 buttons, 3 black and a silver one. The top are volume rockers, and the one on the bottom is your 2-stage focus shutter release camera button, which has a very nice click and travel to it. You can't miss any of the 2 stages. The middle button is basically a slider, which is used to lock or unlock the phone. The top part, as well as the sides, back and bottom, everything really except the glass on the front, is made out of the same polycarbonate which embraces the phone. You'll find your 3.5mm headphone jack here on the top, far right, while the micro USB port dead center for syncing and charging, a small microphone hole next to it for noise cancellation, and a latch which wears the HDMI inscription. It's where you can find the micro HDMI port for mirroring your display on a big screen. Nokia didn't make the bottom of the 808 PureView extremely crowded. You will only find your main microphone responsible for your voice calls, and a small lanyard hole to use with your bundled wrist wrap. Nokia renamed Symbian Bell to Nokia Bell, and the unit which we are reviewing runs Nokia Bell Feature Pack 1. It is not Android, but it has many similarities with the Google mobile platform, starting from widgets, continuing with home screens, and, last but not least, the slide-down notification tray. A maximum number of 6 home screens can be set up at any time, but depending on your usage, you can find even 3 or 4 to be enough. Each home screen can have its own wallpaper, and the lock screen as well as the app tray will pick up the wallpaper of the home screen active before the device gets locked, and you can add both widgets and shortcuts to every one of them. There are 46 widgets available out of the box, from the simplest 3G or Wi-Fi toggle on-off to the more complex widgets like calendar, social, or email. While they are not resizable, and some of them are pretty large so that you can only have a maximum number of 2 on one screen, you can easily find a winning combination according to your usage. The Nokia 808 PureView with Nokia Bell comes with almost everything you need out of the box. The email application comes with full Microsoft Exchange support, as well as easy to set up common accounts like Windows Live, Yahoo, or Gmail. There is a full suite of Microsoft Office Mobile on the Nokia 808 PureView with Excel, PowerPoint, Word, and OneNote. This is testifying for the strong relationship between the two companies. There's also collaboration tools like SharePoint and Microsoft Lync, so you should be well covered from this perspective. As with the case of any Nokia product recently, you will have full maps and offline voice-guided navigation on your phone to find your way. GPS works surprisingly good on the 808 PureView with fast locks and accurate position reporting, and if you live in a region supported, you will also benefit from the public transport application which guides you throughout major cities where available. The camera on the 808 PureView is, without a doubt, its main feature and selling point. The 41 megapixel sensor would be a gimmick for most out there if it weren't for the PureView technology to cleverly use up all those huge amounts of pixels. There are two main features of the PureView technology: image quality and lossless zoom. In terms of image quality, you can take either 8, 5 or 3 megapixel images employing the PureView technology. Nokia is using something called pixel oversampling, which could be misleading because oversampling in this case doesn't refer to inflating pixels but creating a so-called superpixel. In case of 8 megapixel images, there's a ratio of 5:1 in creating images from full size to 8. This picture oversampling combines multiple pixels into a single pixel. The amount of pixels combined depends on the resolution of your final image. 8 megapixel images contain superpixels combined of less pixels than 3 megapixel pictures. As far as lossless zoom is concerned, the 808 PureView is not employing any optical zoom and no digital zooming either, which means no pixelation. But how does it zoom then? Whenever you zoom into a portion of the screen, the amount of pixels required to create a superpixel is reduced to 0 when reaching maximum zoom. To put this in a simple context, when you reach the maximum zoom available according to the final image size, you will basically get a 1:1 crop of the image sensor. The exact procedure is applied when recording videos. 1080p videos will benefit from 4x lossless zoom by cropping towards 1:1, and 720p videos can zoom to 6x, all in a lossless way. As far as camera modes are concerned, there are 3: automatic, scenes, and creative. In creative mode, you can select the sensor mode, PureView for 8, 5, and 3 megapixel oversampled images, or full resolution to use all the pixels available without oversampling, which is useful if you want to edit your pictures on a computer. You can think of it as a RAW mode, even though the 808 doesn't support RAW files. The Nokia 808 PureView comes with an ND, neutral density filter. Think of it as sunglasses for your lenses. It reduces the amount of light that reaches the sensor, and you have the option of turning it on, off, or setting it to automatic. You can really play with the ND filter and ISO modes in order to tweak the exposure times, as in shutter speeds, in case of long exposures for blurred images or night shots. Shutter speed, which you can't manually set, can go as high as almost 3 seconds. With the ND filter, you can also capture those effects which make your photographs really stand out, like blurring the movement of water flow. Battery life is a tricky one. If the 1400 mAh battery on the 808 PureView only lasted half a day in our first 2 days of usage, after the novelty of the camera faded away, it settled in at around a full day worth of juice. Be careful, the camera will kill your battery quickly, and if you allow this to happen and also use Xenon Flash, it will drain in no time. Call quality is exceptionally good on the phone. The earpiece produces a pleasant sound which isn't at all dull. And since we're talking about audio, we definitely like the speaker at the back of the phone, which produces loud and clear sounds. Our biggest annoyance with the 808 PureView was the internet browser. It is slow and unresponsive at the beginning. Once pages are loaded, it is still far from the buttery smoothness you experience while in the gallery or manipulating photos. The 808 PureView was destined to be a worthy follow-up for the Nokia N9, and that it is. It is undoubtedly the best camera phone on the market at the moment, hands down. While you can regard it as a camera phone with phone functionality or a smart camera, both descriptions will be unjust. Symbian is still a smartphone platform even if abandoned. However, the experience as well as the selection of applications available in the store are far from what Android or iOS will offer. Who should buy this phone? If you are not a power user and your daily usage implies using the phone, sending emails, texts, listening to music, snapping pictures and recording videos, plus the occasional navigation, then this phone is for you. However, if smartphone functionality is more important for you than the camera, you should probably either pass on this one if you are completely uninterested, or if you're interested, wait for the PureView technology to come to Windows Phone. At the end of the day, the 808 PureView might only be a proof of concept, a pioneer of a soon-to-become collector's item, but Nokia surely managed to step up the game in a serious way. We rate the Nokia 808 PureView 6.7 out of 10, mainly because the platform used. Hardware is excellent, even if we're not looking at the latest quad-core chips in comparison. The camera is like nothing else out there. This was Anton D. Knight from Pocketnow and the Nokia 808 PureView. If you have enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up, and thank you very much for watching.